It's Wednesday. It's Mark Pyers. It's real talk.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way
to ease my mind
and help my living.
It's real talk. It's the daily variety show, Mark Pyers Real Talk. I'm here to help you make smarter moves to amplify your current state. And I'm here with you on Wednesday, day 373 in a row of the Real Talk program. And I just wanted to remind you, especially when you have your mind on a goal, you have your heart moving towards something, don't give up, accept and redirect. What do I mean by that? Well, we get a lot of information from those around us. Sometimes it's good information. A lot of times it's really bad information. And I don't know if it's necessarily that people want you to fail. They really do believe that's the right information. It's just bad info. It's kind of like real estate. We say a lot of smart people make really bad moves in real estate because they know so much when it comes to everything else. They kind of stubbornly move forward thinking they know how to do it. And it doesn't always work that way. But if you get the information and you accept it for what it is, you can redirect. And you could actually find something meaningful from that information. And especially consider your source. If you're getting it from somebody you know is leading you where you need to go, listen, take notes, redirect. Because what we usually have is a great idea. And then we need other people to flush it out, to give us some clarity on that idea, add to it. I think that's the value of others. Someone's got to come up with the thought, and then others flush it out, bring it to the surface, make it cohesive, something that's manageable. And I think that's just because one person can't do everything. I even think someone like an Elon Musk, for example, he is all over the news these days. Very impressive. Photography Belmont, how are you? So good seeing you on. And who else is on? Say hello. Photography Belmont, you got to go over to YouTube, subscribe, and ding the bell. It's just so much better on YouTube. I'd appreciate it if you were over there and you could send me notes. I could see it over here on my screen. Anyway, I think it's important to redirect. And also, remember, it's not that you're going to hear everything and then redirect every time you hear something, because a lot of times you're getting bad information. You have to figure out what you're getting. Use that North Star in you to determine if it's the right info. I think our intuition tells us when we're getting right information. And that's a funny thing too. Just think about that. I find this intuition will kick in and someone will go after something and then they eventually fail. I believe it's really they fail. They just ran out of the ability to continue. This old thing where I'm going to fight until I have no fight left in me. Well, some people run out of the fight and they just give up. But their intuition was not wrong. They just ran out of that fight. If they kept fighting, I'm pretty sure they'd wind up getting exactly where that intuition told them they'd go. Our intuition is just the guide. And then it doesn't tell you how long it's going to be. It doesn't tell you it's going to be a month or 6 days or a year. It just says there's something, and if you go and you just don't lose the fight and you keep driving, one day, that's really what it is, one day that will occur. Reality will set in. But it's almost because you've tricked everything else into believing it to be reality. You know, you just absolutely believe it. You see it in your mind and you're like, I'm getting there. I don't care how long it takes. I've got fight in me and I'm not going to ever give up that fight. Is over there on YouTube. Okay, can you guys hear me? I just got logged off. I don't know what happened there. I kicked my power cable and now everything went off. That's going to be great because now I have to restart everything while we're live. How about that? All right. Well, that's fun. The good thing is, I think we're still live. You guys let me know if we're still live, but you may have lost my audio there for a second. That's my computer kicking on. Hold on, I'm going to make sure it starts correctly. I don't know if I'm going to get right in. We'll see. This could be a whole process here. This is Real Talk at its finest. Everyone thinks it's so smooth. I got the engineer here in the background delivering everything to me. No, this is all real time. It happens all in real time. Everything, including power going off and restarting it. Oh, it worked. Okay, cool. I've got this old OS X. It's like this 2010 Mac that was like massive. If you guys remember this one, it's like the steel Mac. It looks like all metal. Totally cool. They just came out with a brand new one. But this one's rocking. It's got quad core in it. And I'm like, that's cool. So I've got that for my desktop work when I'm here doing anything like all my graphic stuff. Like this stuff was all done on this desktop. The problem with it is it's broken between, I think, Catalina hard drive and Mavericks, which was like an older version. And if you don't push a certain button at the right time when you start the computer over, it brings you to the newest system, and it winds up being like a 5-minute process. But I got lucky. We got right in the first time. And I do have 3 really good stories for you guys today, so I'm glad that the computer is going to be up and running in a second because I want to share those with you. But what are you guys up to today? Day 373 in a row. Of course I'm here with you. I'm not going to miss a day. And let's see. I mean, I got a lot going on as far as the real estate business is concerned, but I just feel like it's been a really frustrating start to the year for me because I find that in general, people aren't looking at the market and understanding it and reacting to it. They're thinking, I just don't think they're thinking. They're not being educated. They're not looking at the market for real what it is. They're seeing other stuff. Oh, well, I saw online this traded for, and that house went for, and 3 years ago. And people don't understand. You only are selling in this market, not 6 months ago, not a year ago. And that buyer who's at your door is only willing to pay what they're willing to pay. It's if you're willing to accept it. If you're not, we have no deal. And so far, two deals that I was trying to put together just did not come together. And it's frustrating when you've done all the work. Not only done all the work, but you've gone above and beyond. One of these last deals, for example, I went out on Christmas Eve and I spent 2.5 hours with the buyers and sellers face to face to try to put together a deal on Christmas Eve. It didn't happen. But like I said, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to accept and redirect. Didn't work. Okay, so what do I focus on now? Well, here's the deal. If I don't get these properties and continue to work on these properties, I'm going to accept that I worked my tail off and these people aren't good human beings because I worked so hard that the idea of not getting the listing back is kind of like, it would just be a weird thing. And here's the thing. If someone does get that listing after me, I sold it. It's going to sell. I already sold it. I did all the work, literally did all the work for a year plus. And we had so much activity when it came off the market. If we just stayed on, it would have sold already. So I did the work already. I had it to the point where we were like, it's bubbling, And they're like, oh, it's the holidays. Let's take it off. I told you guys my whole philosophy is the holidays are the new spring market. And you should be on in the holidays because I saw a lot of people getting interest. My other offer came in because they looked at it over the holidays. You tell me. Is there anybody who's serious over the holidays? There was so much activity this holiday season. And I'm still trying to put deals together with some of those parties that came through. But I'll tell you, this is why I push here every day on Real Talk to remain positive, because it's so negative still in that marketplace. It's a buyer's market, so sellers are extremely negative on the market, and buyers feel like they could steal everything. They're coming in really low to start, which is offending sellers instead of getting a conversation started. And this is the market we live in. And in a perfect world, look, I don't ever want to stop doing with this, like out there working with clients, but I do want to find a way to start doing Real Talk and creating a business out of Real Talk so I can get out there and inspire people and maybe not focus as much on my 18 hours a day trying to create a deal and put this together and go out there and show this house. Like, I don't think, the more I do this, the more I feel like the going around and running from house to house, like, oh, let's look at this one and let's open up this closet door. I don't think that's a good use of my time. Like, showing what closet space there is? What? that's been my job for 11 years. Like, oh, look, here's the kitchen and here's the bedroom. And, look, I've done very well in this business, but I got to tell you, the ups and downs are so frustrating. So frustrating. You work and then you get smacked to the ground. It's like, okay, you got to get back up. No one's going to wait for you to get back up and wipe yourself off. So you got to jump right back up. Well, Barbara Corcoran has that old saying, it's not how often you fall, it's how quickly you get back up. It's very true. It's very true. Sometimes it's harder than others. I told you guys a story the other day about this crazy listing I took a few years ago and how the owner of this property basically destroyed my soul. For the year, would just beat me down and tell me I wasn't a good agent because he paid less than $9 million and within a month had me put it on for $15 million. $6 million over what he paid, and all he did was lay down grass seed. So you have to consider your source. Accept and redirect. I should have accepted that this guy was just trying to milk my energy dry because he was trying to sell something that's unsaleable. You can't sell. Let me just make this very simple. The property he paid $8.9 for was on the market for 6 years. It started at like $15 million. It went down to 12 to 10 to, they tried to auction it off for $7 million. Nobody bought it for 7. He buys it for 8.9 and then turns around a week later. I got to tell you the whole story now because you don't know why this happened this way. The original owner of this house, I wish I had a chance to list it with him because he would have been respectful and he would have recognized my hard work. But he sold the house to this guy. But it wasn't that simple. I went in to see the original owner and I had a buyer. This property was off market and I called him up. I said, look, I've got a off market. This is a very specific buyer. He was a baseball player. And I said, he's looking for something unique. He had this amazing house with a pond. And then also it was like a sports center, like sports court, 3 stories, basketball court. There's a video of me over on TikTok doing this Kiss the Rim, Michael Jordan thing. That was in that space. Anyway, I go to see him and I show the house. Great showing, great man. And after the showing, my client's like, no, that was a cool house. I'm not going to buy it. The guy was cool, though. You should try to get that listing. I remember him saying that. You should go and try to get that listing. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go and talk to him because it is a great house. It's been off the market for like 6 months. So I go in and I just pop in. I just did the old pop in. I just wanted to thank you for showing me your house and my buyer, your house. It doesn't work for them. However, I think your place is amazing and it hasn't been on the market for a while. I'd love an opportunity to just lay out a strategy on how I would market this property. Would that be okay? No, you know what? We're not going to go to market. And by the way, everybody wants my listing. Everybody comes in here, they say they want my listing, and then I never see them again. I never hear from them again. They never call. He's laughing while I sing this. He's like, they never call. They come in once, they want the listing, and then I never see him again. When he said that to me, I took it to heart. And I continued to go see him every 3 weeks to a month for the entire year. By month 9 or 10, I go in and I see, like, this is crazy. Like maybe about 5 weeks had gone by and it was like the longest stretch where I hadn't gone to see him. And I walk in, I'm like, I'm going by today. I just happened to drive by his office. I'm going in. I walk up and as I open the door, I see like movement, boxes, and then I see him. He turns to me and his face just drops. He goes, Mark, I sold the house. And my stomach hit the ground. Because this entire time, he was trying to sell it like off market to these, Chinese buyers, all different, European buyers. It's like a super high end home, He's like, I sold it to this Singaporean businessman. And I'm like, my heart just falls into my stomach. For a full year, I'm going to see him, trying to just get him to recognize how much I'm willing to work for this listing. And he says, wait, don't worry though, because he wants to flip it. And I'm like, I still can't believe that word came out of his mouth and that I still have to tell the story like that. He wants to flip it. He wanted to pay 8.9 and then flip it for 15. So because I showed up every single month for a year to see this gentleman, he told that buyer, when you go to flip this property, there's only one agent in New Canaan that I think you should interview. It's this guy. because he came to see me every single month for a year. And I told him no, and he just kept coming back. And he said, that's persistence and dedication that you should really look at. So Labor Day comes by that same year. This guy's now the new owner. I go over the house with my drone. There's about 30 people there. This new owner and all of his family and his employees, and he's got like his CFO there, and they're all there at this property because it's a massive estate. And I'm there, and they're grilling me, asking me questions. Went really well. And I go outside and said, look, I'd like to show you how I'm going to differentiate this property. I brought my drone. And they love the idea of the drone, so I'm showing it to them. And one of my favorite moments, and again, I never sold this property, but one of my favorite moments was when we were walking the property and this new owner said to me, we were talking about being passionate. We were talking about being passionate about something like a home. And he said, do you think that passion and loving something affects a buyer? And I said, absolutely. When I bring someone through my properties, I'm sharing with them what I love about it. And I believe when I love something, it's going to rub off on that buyer. And they're going to find a way to love it too in their own way. Same, again, it's all how you handle your life and how you handle situations. If I went at it negatively, I'm pretty certain you will rub more people the wrong way than you get them to show interest. You don't want to walk around and talk about the negatives. You want to talk about how great something is. It's just like straight up marketing is just like finding the good and showing people what are the benefits of this product, of this house. Oh yeah, but you know what? There's a sump pump, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, who knows what could be a negative there? But this is why you have disclosures. You don't focus on the negatives. You focus on what is going to sell the house. What are they going to be interested in? Does it have a pool, a putting green? Does it have a master bedroom on the first floor? Like, you got to figure out what detail is going to grab the public's attention. Anyway, listen, I'm going to move forward to the news. Riza, how you doing? And Empire's inspectors, my people. Love seeing you on. Let's see what we got today. I got some news for you. This is some local news / this one's not local. I'm going to get into this one for you because I want you guys to understand, just because someone's on TV and like doing a show about renovating homes does not mean that they have any knowledge on how to renovate a home. Doesn't mean that they are qualified to renovate a home. And this is a great example of that. I'm going to share it with you right now. Windy City Rehab hosts sued after $1.36 million home started to fall apart 2 weeks after sale. Now, this is a problem. Again, we're going back to the 80s where everybody was like, who built the house? Was it some guy who just lost his job? He picked up a hammer and he's like, I'm a builder. Like, there was a lot of that back in the 80s, and the quality of work was just nil. And we had that a resurgence of that in 2008 and 9. A lot of people in finance lost their jobs and they came out and said, well, I'm going to go build houses. And they just started building houses. So we may find some homes from that era that wind up being an issue in the long run. We'll see. So check this out. A Chicago couple is suing the hosts of HGTV's Windy City Rehab after their $1.36 million home allegedly started to fall apart within weeks of closing. This is a problem. Major problem. According to the lawsuit filed on December 30th, James and Anna Morrissey's Lincoln Square home was subject to leaks and water damage as soon as the day after closing. When an upstairs hallway bathroom leaked water onto the kitchen ceiling below, whenever it was used, the couple is alleging that Windy City Rehab hosts Allison Gramenos, who also goes by Allison Victoria, and Donovan Eckhart are guilty of breach of contract, breach of warranty, defective and shoddy work, and consumer fraud. In the lawsuit obtained by Chicago Sun-Times, the couple demands a reversal of the sale of the wait a second. Didn't they say it was, $1.36 million home, and additional reimbursement of $80,000 to cover their upgrades, landscaping, and unspecified amount for emotional distress and punitive damages. Now, this is interesting. Like, how do you even get to this point? These properties all have to be inspected by the building department. That's why I'm very much skeptical on this result here. Unless Chicago is letting people go, I don't know building departments that are really taking it easy on new construction these days. But I don't know what it's like in Chicago. I do have to say that. The lawsuit states the couple was promised a new roof as part of a complete renovation of the property, but that was never installed. Following the sale, the said decrepit roof was causing leaks and water penetration throughout the home, including into the masonry walls, windows, and through the ceiling. Hardly ideal for a brand new multi-million-dollar residence. So again, how could you call something brand new if it didn't have a new roof? So it was not brand new. It was brand new. Like, someone's not doing the research here. Like, the couple was promised a new roof as part of the complete renovation of the property. Okay, complete renovation is not a new house. Okay? Hardly ideal for a brand new million-dollar residence. It's not a brand new multi-million-dollar residence. It's a renovation. It's an old house that's been renovated. So I don't know about, look, I have a feeling this person's going to lose. They had an inspector. If the inspector didn't pick up any of this stuff, when you run water during an inspection, you put that on for like an hour. They run the bathtub for like an hour. They run the dishwasher. They run the washer and the dryer at the same time. They put everything on at the same time. They put all of the toilets to flush because they want to see if anything is going to happen like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think this is going to wind up being thrown out. We'll see. I'm going to try to follow it, although I guarantee you never hear about it again from me. But I would like to find out if they really have to do anything with this. Now, I'm a little, let me put some music on here, by the way. You know, I'm going to put this one on. Oh, yeah. So this is just a scary, it goes into the scary local news section of Real Talk. Taj, what's up, buddy? My friend. So this is a scary story I want to share with you guys because I live one town away from this. And the fact that this happened right around the corner from where I live is frightening. And both of these stories you're about to hear. Westport police, a masked man arrested after he repeatedly stabs Greenwich woman in random daylight attack. Look at this kid. Can you see this kid? Oh, let's see. Uh-oh. Why am I off the air? Okay, there we go. Can you guys see this kid? Let me see if I can scroll down. Where's this picture? I guess they don't show it. This is the guy right here, okay? He's like a 17, 18-year-old kid. He grows up in a town called Guilford, which is a nice town. Like, there's no reason why someone should be going around stabbing people from Guilford, Connecticut. I'm just pointing that out, okay? Let me share this with you. A masked man approached a woman sitting in a car outside a spa in Westport, Connecticut out of a Westport, Connecticut parking lot at lunchtime Monday and repeatedly stabbed her in what police said appears to be a random attack. The woman, a 33-year-old from Greenwich, survived. The man, who police identify as Ellis Tibier, 18, of Guilford, confessed and was arrested after he was found nearby. He was charged with criminal attempt to commit murder, first-degree assault, and possession of a deadly weapon, and he is in custody on a $1 million bail. He doesn't know the woman. That's crazy. He didn't even know who this was. According to police, Tiber, wearing a mask and carrying a knife, approached the woman's car shortly after 1 p.m. in the parking lot outside New Beauty and Wellness. The woman had been sitting in the car before an appointment. Tiber opened the car door, and the woman began to kick at him in self-defense. He then stabbed her in the leg multiple times. Bystanders called 911 and reported the stabbing, telling police that the suspect fled. First responders arrived and helped the woman, who was taken to Norwalk Hospital. She was listed in stable condition with serious wounds. At the same time, officers surrounded the area and looked for the suspect. A few miles away, an officer spotted the suspect's car on Sherwood Island Connector. That's, by the way, on the way to 95. He was trying to make his escape. They signaled for the driver to stop, and he complied. And he answered their questions. Based on the interview conducted with Tiber, I don't know how he's called. It appears the victim and location were chosen at random. Well, this is crazy, guys. What do we do? This is the world we live in? Random people going around just what? And then I read something last night. They were like, he was like a normal kid. Did you hear about this Christian in Westport? It's crazy. I don't know what's going on out there. Now I got one more story for you. This is really a very, very This is a happy day for us here in New Canaan, Connecticut. I'm about to share you a story here, okay? So, if you guys are not aware of this, last year...
Robbie's just moved into Siesta Key.
Last year, there was a kidnapping, murder. We don't know. Still not fully aware of what happened in my town where I work. And the woman disappeared, 5 kids, and Jennifer Dulos. And the entire world has been looking for her. And I think everybody knew what happened from the beginning, obviously. The husband was just arrested and charged for murder. And this is a very, very exciting thing for us here because this town has been kind of like on high alert since. That's something we just don't have happen. Same thing, like with the Westport story. We don't have those types of things happen here. So when they do, it takes a toll. It really does. And for us in this town, in this surrounding area, to see that he is being charged with murder, it is justice is finally being served, and we are thrilled by that because, this is disturbing to hear. Just check out the story here behind this, okay? Arrest warrants allege new details in the mysterious disappearance of Connecticut mom Jennifer Dulos. According to her nanny's first reaction and what apparently went missing from their pantry, Jennifer Dulos, who shared 5 children with her estranged husband Fotis Dulos, went missing May 24th amid the former couple's contentious custody battle. Her body was never found, but Fotis Dulos was charged Tuesday with capital murder, and kidnapping, police said. Authorities allege that Jennifer Dulos was killed at her home on May 24th between 8:05 a.m. and 10:25 a.m. after she returned from taking her children to school. On May 24th, surveillance footage showed someone in a hoodie riding a bike consistent with Foto Dulos' bike toward Jennifer Dulos' home. This guy's disturbing looking. Police claim Fotis Dulos bound Jennifer Dulos with zip ties, put her inside her own car, and cleaned the garage, according to an arrest warrant. A surveillance video shows Jennifer Dulos' car leaving home at 10:25 a.m. Fotis Dulos' defense attorney, Norm Pattis, told ABC News Mr. Dulos has contended he's not guilty. Okay. The Dulos' children's nanny, Lauren Almeida, said she arrived at the Dulos' home at 11:30 a.m. on the 24th, according to the warrant. Jennifer Dulos was supposed to be at her doctor's appointment, the document said, and Almeida found the mom of 5's unopened granola bar and mug of tea on the kitchen counter. So she left her tea there. Obviously didn't leave it there. She was pulled out by this piece of garbage. Anyway, in the pantry, Almeida found only 2 paper towel rolls remained, which she said was incredibly strange because just that night before, she had placed a brand new pack of 12 rolls in the pantry. Interesting. That afternoon, Almeida's texts to Jennifer Dulos were going unanswered, and at 4 p.m., her call to Jennifer Dulos went straight to voicemail, the arrest warrant said. Immediately, my stomach sank, and I had the feeling that something was wrong. In almost 7 years that I've worked for Jennifer, I never ever had a hard time reaching her and never had an issue with her phone being off. Once Almeida learned Jennifer Dulos didn't make it to her child's orthodontist appointment that afternoon, her first thought was that Fotis did something. Wow. Almeida later was shown investigation photos, and she noted that the cleaning supply bucket with cleaning supplies inside was missing from the garage. Fotis Dulos' girlfriend, Michelle Triconis, was also arrested Tuesday, charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Police allege she lied about when she saw her boyfriend on the mornings of her wife's disappearance. His wife's disappearance. Police say, according to the documents, Triconis conveyed Dulos had told her, "Sometimes I hope she disappears." In Triconis' police interviews, according to documents, when Triconis was told that Dulos had killed his wife and involved her in the cleanup, she responded by saying, "That's like even worse. I hate him because of that. I was cleaning the house. I wasn't cleaning Jennifer." What? I hate him because of that. I was cleaning the house. I wasn't cleaning Jennifer. So they were cleaning her house? Obviously, we know what happened here then. Kent Mawhinney, an attorney and friend of Fotis Doulos, was the third person arrested in the case, charged with conspiracy to commit murder. So they're bringing in somebody new in this charge, which is very interesting to me because I don't even know who this guy is, but he apparently helped dig a grave or something like that. On May 18th, days before Jennifer Doulos disappeared, 2 men were at a Connecticut gun club Mawhinney once belonged to. When they found a hole they described as 100% a human grave. In the hole, one man found a blue tarp and 2 unopened bags of lime, the documents said. One man said, "What's the lime for?" The other answered, per the documents, "For trying to get rid of a body." In early June, one of the men returned to the spot and found the hole had been filled and covered as neat as a pin with leaves and sticks to the point that you could not tell a hole had ever been there. Officers searched that spot in June and August, but while they, along with canine teams, discovered a site of disturbed earth, they could not locate signs of human remains. No signs of tarp or bags of lime. I don't know, guys. This is interesting stuff. All I know here is I'm glad to see they have some information and they've gone to the point of arresting this guy, because I could not believe that he'd possibly get off for this horrific thing he did. And it was a very, very disturbing thing for me to drive into town for 10 months and see a picture of her smiling in front of New Canaan police, knowing that this guy's out there, you know, whether he's in jail but just the fact that he's even exists. It's just a really depressing thing. And again, the world we live in, that there are people that do stuff like this. More of a reason why we need to shine positivity on the world, guys. A lot more of that reason. Anyway, I guess that's basically it for the news. Let me see what else we got. I think I may play a song for you guys. I'm going to keep it a short episode again today. I got so much going on this afternoon. Let me quickly head over to my Facebook page, see if anybody's on with me. Anyway, I guess that's basically it for the news. Hold on, I'm pushing on pause. There we go. So, okay, I got my Facebook browser open. If anybody wants to say anything, you have any requests or anything on the beat seat, that beautiful thing right there. And what else do we have going on? So tomorrow, the rest of this week, look, I'm gearing up for a really busy 2020. I absolutely am, but I'm definitely going to have to figure out how to get more clients. That's what I have to figure out. How to get more buyers and sellers. That's something I got to see if I can work that into my mastery. I don't even know how to figure that out. Like, I've always just dealt with, you do a good job for someone, they tell someone, and now I got a new client. But there's not enough clients out there to do what I have in mind. I got to somehow I have to 10x my leads. And they have to be leads that are actually able to trade. Like I said, I'm dealing with some people that just don't want to look at the market for what it is. I'm looking for people who are ready to make moves, to make smarter moves. That's what I'm here to do, to tell you. I mean, but you have to be willing to listen and make the move. So let me play you a tune. How about that? Let's go over and see what we could do. What do we got today? Anything? We live over here? I think we're live. Should work. Just had to bring that up a little bit. Can you hear it? Let me turn this on and off. I don't know if that's working at all. Huh. I don't hear it very loud. Starts to feed back. to the Lord for forgiveness, the everlasting dream. I might see through it all, losing my self-esteem. Losing my self-control. Let's sing a pretty song. Let's sing a pretty song. Let's sing a pretty song. Pretty song for you and me. The Lord knows our short-lived fate. Pray to Him, beseech my lonely, lonely, forced, tormented pain. Why must I be the cause of tides that represent my lonely life? Things aren't the way they seem. What do you want from me? Patience be not afraid. This pretty song is everything. Pretty song is everything. Let's sing a pretty song. A pretty song for you and me. Let's sing a pretty song. Let's sing a pretty song. Why must this world rely on their lonely thoughts? Maybe I'm the only one who sees that I should find the lonely dreams within your feet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this world's fine. Maybe I'm right. Yeah, maybe this world's found a way for their hearts to find happiness inside. Oh no, yes, I've lost my mind. Let's sing a pretty song. Let's sing a pretty song. Let's sing a pretty song. A pretty song for you and me. Pretty song. No, no, no. Let's sing a pretty song. Let's sing a pretty song. Hopefully somebody caught that. That's my song, Pretty Song. I wrote that when I was about 19. It's probably one of the first real compositions I wrote, where it wasn't just straight strumming G, C, D. It's the first time I added something really interesting like that chorus where it goes into the, why must this world rely on their lonely thoughts? Maybe I'm the only one who sees That's a pretty cool, it's like very theatrical. I remember when I wrote that, I was actually doing a lot of theater at the time. It's right when I was playing Romeo. It's kind of crazy. I still have that, I do. Hold on a second. I have it right here. This is one of the greatest plays in history. And I got to play the greatest part for a year, roughly. It was awesome, but soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is sick and pale with grief. Who is already sick and pale with grief, yeah, that thou her maid art far more fair than she. But not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. Ah, it is my lady. No, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer that. I missed this. I forget all of this. This is great. Two of the fairest stars in all of heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres as they return. What if her eyes were there in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. It's true. I'm telling you. I'm reading it right here from Shakespeare. He knows what he's talking about. Her eyes in heaven would, through airy. No, see, this is the problem when you're reading off of a script from when you're 19 years old. It's been 22 years, guys. I'm an old man Romeo now. It's no longer the same guy. You guys know this part. This is the part where she's in the balcony. But this is such a great play. I really enjoyed this. This was probably this may have been my last play. No, I did another play, a couple plays after this, but this is my last like major performance where I just was hurt afterwards. Like I said this to you guys, when you finish up a production like this after a year and you're saying goodbye to people, you're like, the next day you're like, what do I do next? It's a very weird thing when you go from being like confidants with all these people, they're part of your family, and then you're just like, okay, good luck on your show, your next show. We're going off to do our thing, you know. R&J. This is a lot of fun to do. I wish apparently there was a film. Someone had filmed, I still remember the camera being there in the audience during one of the productions. We did like 4 shows at the Long Wharf Theater, and then we did it at the Palace in New Haven. And that was the one that was filmed. And I don't know whatever happened to the recording. I'd love to see that. It would be pretty cool to see that one day. I'm sure there's going to be a tape that shows up, especially if Real Talk gets there one day. It would be like, oh, here's Mark playing Romeo at 18. I would love to see it. If you have it, please play it. Joe Tantalo has it. I think Joe is the guy who filmed it. I don't know if he ever got a copy of it, but I know he had someone come and film it. And I heard over the years people asked him, about it, and he was like, I don't know, the tape disappeared. But I'm pretty sure it's out there somewhere. Someone has it. Whoever filmed it has it somewhere. Like, I have tapes. I have so many recordings of my performances when I used to tour that'll never be seen again. They're just sitting in a box somewhere. I'm pretty sure that tape is sitting in a box somewhere at Joe's house or at whoever shot its house. They're like, oh, what's this tape? One day a VHS tape is going to show up. They're like, what's this? Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. You're going to be like, what? It's Shakespeare? Who's that guy with his guitar? I actually sang one of my monologues. I think I was probably a pretty unique Romeo because we had the third scene when I'm sitting. There's the final scene where you're banished. And I'm sitting there and I have this monologue at the beginning. I think this is it. No, this isn't it. I'm banished and Balthazar comes out to see me. And there's a moment at the beginning where I'm alone and I have a monologue. And what I did there is I basically sang the monologue. I turned it into a song. It was really good. That's why I wish I had that recording. It would have been great to see it. I'm trying to find it. Like, if I could find the actual words, let me see if this is it. This is what happens from 20 years ago. I'm not sure if this is it. I'll tell you though, if I could find that, it was really cool because the song was pretty rocking actually. Fair Verona, where we lay our scene. This guy, do you guys know what the intro to Romeo and Juliet sounds? Just listen to the first line here. You'll be like, I gotta see the whole thing now. I want to hear it all. Just this open. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona. I told you, this is basically the United States of America right now. I'm gonna read this as the USA. Ready? Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair USA. Where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. Whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parent strife, their fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, Democrat, Republican. But their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. So that is the prologue to Romeo and Juliet. Basically talking about these two, people who fall in love and their parents are jerks. I think we're gonna have a lot of that, right? Oh, my dad likes this guy and my mom likes her or whatever. Someone said earlier today, it's like, we have to start having more communication, conversation. We got to stop getting aggressive with people who don't think and believe the same things as us. What's going on out there? We're a defensive society, and we act so childish when it comes to having an intelligent conversation. Huh? Wait, hold on. We can't have an intelligent conversation? You're not willing to do that? You're going to freak out because I'm saying something that you don't like? This is America. You're supposed to feel the way you feel, and you could say, I don't like that guy. He's a jerk. You're allowed to feel that too. You're American. Go ahead and say it. But don't tell people to change. You know, this whole thing that's going on right now with Iran is a scary thing. I have a lot of friends, followers here that are in Iran, and they're scared. It's a scary world we live in right now. But the thing that I can't understand, and you guys tell me if you believe this is true. Since 2016, the president, everybody calls this fake news, right? They call it fake news. I think it's actually I'm going to call it something different. It's the news, it's ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, right? The National Enquirer edition. That's what we've been getting since 2016 from all of the real news stations. It's the National Enquirer. Alien with human ear. Like what? Everything that's said by the media now is National Enquirer. I just want to call them the National Enquirer. I'd be like, oh, CBS News. You mean the National CBS News? National Enquirer, CBS News? They are obviously like, it is not factual. And you have so many people extremely upset with the actions taken by this country in order to eliminate somebody who apparently is a very bad man, a terrorist who's killed a lot of people and would kill a lot more people if he continued to walk this planet. And I actually saw an amazing clip earlier from an Iranian American who is an activist. And she was talking, I wish I could play this for you, but she was saying how the people of Iran are so ecstatic and happy and thankful that this man no longer exists. And you would not be able to tell that based on the rhetoric. And when you look at the National Enquirer News of the United States of America, you would say that this is the worst thing that ever happened, that they went after this guy. But I heard someone the other day say that this is a bigger get than Osama bin Laden. Now, that's a name that I know. Osama bin Laden is the guy who was responsible for taking down the Twin Towers. To me, that was the worst, most reprehensible individual in the world. And this guy could have potentially been a bigger get. That is telling. And one thing that this individual mentioned that I wasn't aware of, and Mustafa, I'm not sure if he's still on now, but Mustafa shares with me, there is no religious freedom in Iran. There is no freedom. These people are there basically being held at bay. Like, you can't do what you want. You can't have free thought. They murder you if you think differently. So I don't care if anybody has a problem with me having this perspective. I'm looking at the facts, guys. I'm looking at the facts. This world should not have terrorists. If there's somebody out there promoting death and violence, and we can get rid of them in one swift blow, and nobody else was harmed, by the way. It was just the attack was on this specific individual. Like, I mean, his group, right? But they didn't hit any civilians. They didn't hit anybody else. I think that it was a targeted, planned out attack that is going to save lives in the long run. And this is just based on this Iranian American's video on YouTube where she said, you guys don't know what's going on. She goes, you didn't live there. She said when she was 7 years old, she grew up in Iran, and she would be in school and they'd say, death to America. She'd have to say that in class to every single day, death to America, kill America, death to America. She goes, I didn't even know what I was saying, what they were making me say. Try to brainwash you there to hate America. She goes, the people in Iran do not hate Americans, do not hate America. It's the land of opportunity. Iran is not the land of opportunity. There's slavery there. And it's scary. And I have a friend who's trying to get out of there. And I hope he can get out of there. And I hope anybody who wants to get out of there can find a way out. It's a scary world, guys. And I got to tell you, we all should be living freely. And by that, I mean, still giving the opportunity to go out there and thrive. They can't do that in Iran. And just keep that in mind when you're out there saying that this shouldn't have happened. And how dare the administration do something? Look, I never heard of the guy before. But when I start doing the research and I hear other people who talk about how dangerous this man was, and this is the only opportunity they could have had to get him. And now he is not able to terrorize. The people of Iran were frightened of him. I heard a story, they said that there were something like 1,200 students who protested. It was a silent protest where they weren't even, I think they said it was a silent protest where they were just like sitting there, and they killed them all. That's what's going on in Iran. That's what this guy was doing. He killed all the protesters instead of just saying, okay, they're silently protesting. Let's just let them do their thing and go home at the end of the day. They murdered them all. Now, I may be saying something wrong, so somebody tell me if that's accurate. But that's what I heard from her video today. So when I saw her video, she's somebody who was born there, lives here now, and pays attention on a daily basis, she said, to Iraqi-American relations, Iranian-American relations, Afghani-American relations, and she is 100% an activist that's trying to create and promote change in the Middle East. And her comment to everybody was, if you don't understand the Middle East, don't even have an opinion. I don't want to hear it. She goes, I'm going to lose a lot of friends. And you know what she said? She thanked the president. It was kind of crazy. She goes, I'm going to lose so many friends right now by doing this. But thank you. She goes, I thank you to President Trump because my family and my friends in Iran are safe now. Like, this guy was bad news. Nobody's talking about that. I wish I could find this video. It was sent to me by somebody. One of my followers sent this to me earlier. And she was an Iranian American on YouTube. And she was just like, look, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Everybody's asking my opinion. And here's the way it is. This guy was evil. And everybody was frightened of him. He was a terrorist. And the fact that people are out here saying now that it shouldn't happen and how dare the U.S. do this. Like she said, they rid the world of one of the worst human beings. Like vile, killed so many people. Americans, Canadians, Iranians, Iraqi, like everybody. He was just a murderer. And the fact that he's off the face of this earth, you know, look, nobody likes to see death. Nobody wants someone to get hurt. But if you have someone who's going to murder 10,000 people, or you can kill him and then those 10,000 people live, seriously, is that even a question? This guy was horrible. Look at some of the people that he killed, or look at what he did in his time at the top. But this girl said that they were terrified of him, and he would murder people just at a whim. Oh, you don't agree with me? Dead. So that, look, I don't know what happens next. If we go to war, I have no idea. All I could tell you is that I support the move to protect this country and protect the world. And if there's anybody out there who's creating a terror situation, like we find another guy who's out there planning to kill thousands of people, I don't care if it's American or not. That person shouldn't be around either. Or get him in jail. But there shouldn't be anybody out there trying to kill on a mass scale. We have to get rid of the terrorism. You know what happens when these people do that? It causes us to stop traveling, to stop going out to stores, to stop doing things. Like all of this, the violence and the anger is causing our society to shut down and to go within. That's why I come out here, I think, every day, because I'm just so fed up with everything that's going on out there. Skyburger, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. This is day 373 in a row. Been live every day since December 31st, 2018. That's 373 days. Unscripted. Positivity. This is minute 57 right now, roughly. Just about to hit minute 57. You missed a song. I'm sorry. I was out there on my invention, the beat seat, and I rocked a really cool song, one of my originals called Pretty Song. I haven't, played it that much, but I rocked it out a little today as well. And I'm probably going to call this a day, guys. I've got to get going. I've got a pretty crazy afternoon, and tomorrow got another beat seat appointment. Remember, accept and redirect. Whatever is going on in your life, when someone gives you apples, you make applesauce, you make apple juice. Whatever you're going to do with those apples, get creative with them, okay? Don't just look at them and say, these apples, I'm going to let them rot. No, take them and make something out of them. Make a jam, make a fig Newton. I don't know. I miss apple Newtons. You guys remember apple Newtons? It's totally random right now, but I miss apple Newtons. I said it. Who remembers apple Newtons? I want to hear from you guys. There are a few things that are no longer on the market that I look back at and say, why did that leave? Why did that stop showing up at my local food store? Like apple Newtons and Bonkers. Do you guys remember Bonkers? Those were so good. And there's one, this is a very random one. This was a Twizzlers product about 7 years ago that was out 10 years ago. It was called Twerps. Anybody remember Twerps? The best candy in the world. It was like a Twizzler with some like other thing inside. It was really good. Orange, and I think there was like a fruit punch or something, but they were ridiculous. And I wonder why some of the best products just no longer are available, There's a random side story there. But this is Real Talk, guys. That's where we go, just wherever the heck it's going to take us. So I am looking forward to tomorrow's episode, day 374 in a row. Remember, guys, if you have any topics, let me know. If you have anybody you'd like to see me interview on the show, shoot me a note, because I am going to be interviewing people. This is going to hopefully be a weekly thing. I already have some feelers out there. I have 3 people that have agreed to come on the show, and I just have to schedule them in. So I'd like to make this a weekly occurrence. So anybody you think that's interesting, anybody who has a business that they want to talk about, and they want to discuss entrepreneurship and positivity, the importance of being positive when you're an entrepreneur, these are some of the topics I want to get into here on the show a little bit more with others. So shoot me a note, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, I'm here every day, so subscribe and ding that bell. YouTube. That's where we go. Twitch, Instagram, everywhere. Tune in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's Mark Pyers.